Hey, what up, everybody? Coming to you this morning with another 2020 mid-year top 10. Going to be discussing what's happened so far and how we're coming out for the second half of the year from the coronavirus. This division is my number 6 division in boxing. It's the 175-pound light heavyweight division. And, let's take a look at any guys that have dropped out first. So, there is only one dropout, and that is former WBC champion Alexander Volcik, who previously was ranked number 5. He has decided to retire, surprisingly. He was talking about coming back, said that he wanted to get back in, possibly jump right back in an eliminator, and maybe go, after that. He wanted to extract some revenge on Arthur Betterbeam at some point in a rematch, but he has decided to retire instead. I think he's got a lot of business opportunities from what I'm hearing, and he just picked going that route as opposed to fighting. I know that loss to Betterbeam last year really took a lot out of him, but he was right at the top of the division, so I'm very surprised by the retirement announcement. But sometimes those losses, as I said, are really devastating to these fighters, and in a sense, I'm not too surprised, but, sucks because he is a very talented fighter, not a huge name, but, that he had a big fight with Betterbeam last year, and I just think he's one of the more talented fighters in the division, so kind of disappointed, but, best of luck to him. I do think there's a chance he will come back once boxing gets back to full form, but we'll see how that goes down. All right, so let's jump into the top 10 now. We start with number 10. The former 2-time world title challenger, Jesse Hart of the United States. Well, Jesse Hart came into the year ranked 10th and, had a lot going for him coming off that win over Sullivan Barrera in 2019 in his debut at 175. He went into a fight in January against Joe Smith Jr., came in the favorite, and Joe Smith just pretty much pounded on him for 10 rounds. Joe Smith almost stopped him. He the power was just so evident, and Jesse Hart just couldn't outwork him as people were expecting him to, myself included. I thought Jesse Hart was going to win that one, but Joe Smith just put it on him. They surprisingly scored it a split decision, but Joe Smith got the decision at the end of the day. Nobody argued it. And Jesse Hart now, he's talking about coming back. He's talking about fighting Michael Seals possibly. Those two guys have been talking shit back and forth to each other. They're both coming off losses, so I think Jesse Hart's just going to chalk it up and get back in the mix, so I'm hoping he does. Second half of the year, I'd like to see him fight a guy like Michael Seals, who's also coming off a loss. That way he could, get his name right back in the mix. He's ranked number 7 in the WBC. That's his highest ranking, so we'll see what he does with it. Next at number 9 is Joe Smith Jr., the former world title challenger. Well, Joe Smith got probably his second biggest win of his career when he beat Jesse Hart by a 10-round split decision in January. He put it on him, almost stopped him. He hurt him a couple times. Just a good, solid overall performance. And actually, he's getting great opportunity from that victory. He got bumped into the 4-man tournament to determine the next WBO champion. The title's currently vacant. Canelo vacated it last year. Gilberto Ramirez was supposed to compete against Alvarez, and he, decided to not, throw his name in the hat when they were trying to do a purse bid for that fight, and the WBO dropped him out, and then they bumped Joe Smith in, coming off that win over Jesse Hart. So now in August, I don't think they have an exact date set yet, but it's the second half of August on ESPN. Joe Smith's gonna be facing off against Alvarez in the first of the first bout. It's a final eliminator, and then the final match will be for the vacant title. So you got two Russians, Usmanov and Vlasov are fighting, and then the winner of that's gonna fight the winner of Alvarez and Joe Smith Jr. Personally, I think Joe Smith's gonna lose to Alvarez, but I think he does have a good puncher's chance of winning. So we'll see what happens. Big opportunity for Joe Smith that he set himself up for, and I can't wait to see that. I think it's going to be a good matchup, him and Alvarez in August on ESPN. Okay, next at number 8, he moves up one spot from number 9 as the undefeated and former super middleweight champion, Gilberto Ramirez. We heard earlier in the year that Ramirez was going to be fighting. He was trying to buy out his top-ranked contract and trying to get into possibly a title fight with Dimitri Bivol. And then he came out himself and said he was going to be coming back in July, and then we haven't heard anything. I really think he's having a dispute over his contract with Top Rank, and that's holding him back. He's the WBC's #1 contender right now, though. So the big question is, what are they going to have him do, next? Who's he going to fight for? Personally, whether he fights for Top Rank or he fights for another, promotion, I really think he's going to come back and just take a tune-up bout, maybe get a couple in before the end of the year if he's fortunate enough to come back anytime soon. But I don't think the WBC is going to put him into a final eliminator, at least not yet. And that's what I see going on with him. It's really not much right now, and I hope we hear some kind of news on him soon. Next, at number 7, moving up one spot from number 8, is former 2-division world champion Badou Jack. Jack was very close to getting a rematch with Jean Pascal that they were tentatively trying to schedule for May. But then the coronavirus hit. They never were able to get it finalized. There hasn't been a lot of talk about that fight still happening, but I do believe it is a real possibility. I've also heard of Jack and Marcus Brown possibly locking horns. I don't think it's going to be him and Marcus Brown. I think it is going to be him and Jean Pascal next in a rematch. And PBC is just starting to get rolling, so I think they're going to be announcing that sometime soon. They're getting all their fights going in August, so I think the PBC is going to start laying out a more active schedule starting in August and then rolling into September and the fall. So just stay tuned, but I really think it's going to be Jack and Pascal in a rematch. Next, at number 6, is contender, former interim champion Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown's currently ranked number 3 by the WBC right now. He hasn't fought since I believe he lost to Pascal in August of last year. It's been 11 months. Pascal beat him by that technical decision over 8 rounds and put him down 3 times. So Marcus Brown, he's been talking about coming back. He's has had a lot of domestic issues that have held him back. He's trying to get, at some point, I think the WBC is just going to put him in there into, I don't think he'll get an eliminator, but he could. But I think Marcus Brown probably just wants to get a tune-up bout, stay busy. I think he wants to see what happens in the Jean Pascal, Badou Jack situation, because he is part of that mix, and then go from there. But I really believe Pascal and Jack are going to fight each other, and then Marcus Brown's going to just probably take a tune-up bout, try to stay busy, and try to get in line for the winner is what I believe he's doing. Next, at number 5, moving up one spot from number 6, is the WBA regular champion, Jean Pascal. Well, as I said, Pascal was very close to finalizing a fight for May against Badou Jack in a rematch, but that fight got, everything got scratched due to the coronavirus pandemic. So now we're just waiting around to see what Pascal is going to do. A lot of people think, myself included, that fight's still going to go forward, a rematch between those two. It's the fight that makes the most sense for Pascal. But nothing is set in stone yet. So we're waiting to see. As I said, the PBC is laying out their schedule right now. And they've announced their first fight of August, and I just think everything's going to start rolling. I wouldn't be surprised if Pascal faces Jack in September or October. If they fight, I'm picking Badou Jack to beat him in the rematch. I think, I think Jack will. Oh wow, I was there. Okay. I think Jack will be the. I think he'll stop him in the late rounds, or he'll get a cleaner decision win this time. The first time was controversial, but it was a close fight, so we'll see. Okay, next and still number 4 is the undefeated WBA super champion Dimitri Bivol. But he got his name thrown around against Berto Ramirez. Actually sucks for him because he was being considered to face Arthur Betterbeam after Betterbeam made his mandatory defense in March, but Betterbeam's fight got scratched, and due to the coronavirus, and Baval, as normal, has not had anybody wanting to fight him. So I think he's going to come back, probably just take a stay busy opponent. Maybe his #1 contender, Dominic Bozel, would want to fight him, possibly. But I really think he's probably just going to have a stay busy title defense, optional, and get a win and get out of there. That's what I see Baval doing for the remainder of the year. But we'll see. Maybe he'll get lucky and somebody will grow some balls and fight him, but I doubt it. Next, and still number 3, is the former WBO champion, E-Leader Alvarez. Well, Alvarez returned in January. He returned from his first loss to Sergey Kovalev in February of last year, 2019, when Kovalev got revenge and beat him by a one-sided decision to regain the WBO title. Alvarez came out against little-known veteran Michael Seals, and he absolutely broke him down and dominated him. It was a very strong performance. It was a brutal fucking knockout in January. And Alvarez, confirmed his seeding in the 4-man box-off to determine the next WBO light heavyweight champ. He was supposed to fight Berto Ramirez, but Berto Ramirez never, put himself into the purse bid, so the WBO dropped him out. And Joe Smith Jr., who also won in January, beating Jesse Hart, got bumped in, and now Alvarez will fight Joe Smith Jr. You have Maxim Vlasov and Usumov are fighting on the other side, and the winners will meet each other either later this year or early next year for the vacant title. Alvarez and Smith are going to lock horns in the second half of August. Personally, I think Alvarez is going to beat Joe Smith. I think he'll beat him by a clean decision, or he'll beat him by a knockout in the later rounds. But I also think Joe Smith has that puncher's chance. He is a good fighter, and it should be a pretty decent fight. That's taking place second half of August. Hasn't been 100% finalized with the date, but that fight is happening, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be good. And I think Alvarez is the favorite to become the WBO champion again, so we'll see. Next, and still number 2, is the former 3-time WBO champion, Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev was supposed to return in April against Sullivan Barrera at 180 pounds, a cruiserweight catchweight. Kovalev was saying he's tired of trying to make the weight for light heavy. He wants to move up to cruiserweight. He's still ranked in, the governing bodies, though. He's the WBO number 5. It's really up in the air what's going to go on with Kovalev. He has some, court dates and stuff going on with him as well, but I do think he's going to come back this second half of the year. And I think probably Sullivan Barrera is still the favorite opponent, because I don't think Kovalev's really solid on whether he's moving up to cruiserweight or staying at light heavyweight. I think he's going to get a win, a fight in. I think Barrera's a good, solid veteran opponent to face. And I think he'll probably go forward with that, and I'm hoping DAZN is going to announce that soon, that they're rescheduling that fight. We'll see. But if they do, I think Kovalev will beat Barrera by either a one-sided decision or by a late stoppage. And then finally, still number 1, is the undefeated IBF WBC Unified Light Heavyweight Champion, Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev was supposed to face Fang Manlong, his undefeated mandatory number 1 contender from the IBF, but that fight never happened due to the coronavirus pandemic. They were supposed to fight at the end of March. It got scratched. It has not been rescheduled as of yet, sadly, and I really hope we hear something soon now that boxing is back. Excuse me. I really hope we hear something soon about these two guys locking horns, because I want Beterbiev to get back in the ring and stay active. Not sure if he fights twice this year, considering we haven't even heard his first fight coming off, but if he were to fight in September, I wouldn't be surprised if he got another fight in December. But, we got to wait and see what he decides to do, so I'm just hoping they announce that soon. So that's it. That's the mid-year top 10 for the 175-pound light heavyweight division. Hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.